planning level, in the quarterly discussions, in the annual discussions. And our reports, I do believe, do support much of that conversation. I'll get now to the outcomes for the province. What we're seeing is that, if we go into the next slide, so the green is the clean audits, the yellow is the unqualified with findings, the qualified is denoted in purple, and then the light blue is the audits we've not yet completed. And that's for PFMA on the left-hand side and for FAMPLA on the right-hand side. What you will see very quickly, if you look at the slide, is that the overall audit outcomes have gone backwards. If we compare it to where the 7th administration began, we've not moved in the right direction. There are fewer clean audits. In particular, we've seen a regression at COCTA. However, looking at the issues there, I believe that they can get over the trouble that they experienced and get back to a clean audit. We saw that agriculture improved, but I say this with tremendous caution, because the entity that agriculture owns and through which it does much of its work and deploys much of its resources is qualified. So actually, in many ways, we do not have a portfolio of agriculture that's characterized by transparency, performance, and accountability. So when we oversee that particular portfolio, let's not get mesmerized by a clean audit. Let's rather look at whether or not we can drive the necessary improvements to improve or how that entity is being dealt with. In fact, we've noticed that there is poor management of the transfers that are made to beneficiaries, which compromises transparency, accountability, and efficiency of spend. So we do have to attend to that. I'm really pleased, I'll say it once again, that the Provincial Treasury and the Office of the Premier have remained clean. I think it's important that those key departments continue to lead by example. The clean audits, you'll see that 33% is that in number, we look like we've got 33% of our entities having clean audits. However, the last line with the numbers there, you'll see that it is only 5% of our budget in the province that is managed by these clean auditees. Meaning, therefore, that 95% of the budget of the province is being managed by entities that do not have clean audits, that do not meet the standard in terms of accountability and transparency. And of course, I'm delighted once again to note that the legislature has attained its clean audit. The unqualified audits, indeed, the unqualified audits, now that category is where the financial statements are credible. However, there are problems on compliance and performance information. This does not represent the exemplary departments. If you do not have a clean audit, what it tells us is your basic disciplines are not firm. The ability to even look after the rands and cents on a regular basis is not yet firm. There's still significant attention to be paid to how you plan for performance, monitor it and report on it, and drive accountability for performance. The departments that are in the yellow also don't have regular controls to make sure that they comply with the law. So when you see this yellow zone, especially at this space in our journey on driving public finance management as a country, we should drive the leaders of these institutions to commit to improving the situation. Within the yellow zone, you've got the Department of Transport as well as the Department of Human Settlements. And if you look at those departments, they are the ones where the performance is not consistent with what was promised. Far too many of the targets are not being achieved. Both of those audits have got instances of irregular expenditure, which is a problem because if you cannot comply with the law when you procure goods and services, in most instances, you are losing money. You're either overpaying or you're getting things that you shouldn't be buying because they are of poor quality. Quite often, these procurement problems lead not only to irregular expenditure on the books, but practically they result in projects that are not delivered on time or at the right quality. So in fact, the issues about compliance and performance management are quite important because they are the critical link between what we promise each other in this house when we allocate resources and what happens on the ground. When you start seeing a portfolio of projects that are not completed or not commissioned, look to these compliance issues and these performance management issues. In fact, the Department of Transport and the Department of Human Settlements, alongside health and education, which are qualified and I'll come to later on, but I want to just talk about these two, transport and human settlements. They may be unqualified, but they are of the 4 largest contributors to irregular expenditure, huge numbers on irregular expenditure. If I come to the qualified category, the Departments of Education and Department of Health together look after 75% of the budget of the province. So most of the budget that has been appropriated through this House is not managed properly. That's the frank reality. That's what these colors, these categories tell you. You've got a Department of Education in which for a number of years now they've sat with a qualified audit opinion. They are qualified on the completeness of their irregular expenditure, and they've got problems with reporting on their performance. So you've really got a sense that in this department, not only are you struggling to look after the budget and make sure you spend within your means, even given the pressures of service delivery, but you just don't have the disciplines of planning for performance and monitoring it properly, and the procurement problems lead to real leakage. With the current situation where the Department of Education is under tremendous financial stress, having overspent their budget by R500 million, it's urgent that we deal with the controls of managing public funds in this area. Department of Health, they're qualified on irregular expenditure as well, but also on asset management. I want to just talk about this for a moment, because if you look at this thing about qualifying on asset management, one might be tempted to think it's an accounting problem. It's a thing that the CFO must deal with. I'd like to invite you to look at it slightly differently. If you are qualified on asset management, it tells us that you do not have proper handling on where your assets are, what form or condition they are in, where your projects are, whether they're completed or commissioned. You have no sense of controlling your vast asset base. So it's not an accountant's problem, it's a management issue. It talks to the inability to look after resources. And what are the implications? You have this huge portfolio of uncompleted projects. You have a portfolio of projects that are completed but are not commissioned because there hasn't been enough planning to say, well, once I finish this hospital or this ward, I'll make sure that I have the staff to actually use it. What it tells you is that you don't have a maintenance plan that you are proactively implementing so that you look after the assets you have. So you're always constantly going to have to find emergency funds to look after, to fix things that are broken. So I want to say it again. A qualification on asset management is not the problem of the accountant. The CEO to deal with the basics of figuring out what assets do you have, what condition are they in, and how you're going to look after them. With resources being as slim as what they are now, we can ill afford to have investments that are lying fallow. Not only is it making it difficult for us to deliver services to people who need the most, but it diminishes trust as well. I can only imagine how difficult it must be for citizens who look at a ward that is not being used, and yet they need it. Their baby is not a matter for the accountants. It is a matter for all of us to worry about. I will then get back to the outstanding audits. Itala, which I think you know has got difficulties that are now being dealt with in the courts, Itala Limited and the Development Corporation, and then we also had KZN Conservation Board, which submitted its financials late. This picture, honourable members, to me is a warning bell to say that it is crucial, it is urgent that all of us put our hands together and work together towards restoring the governance and accountability measures within the province. Going backwards on accountability and transparency in this season, where service delivery demands are growing, where fiscal pressures are also becoming exacerbated every single day, that regression should be untenable for all of us. The things we're advocating for are not difficult to do. They just need ongoing attention. They need cooperation across the benches, and they need collaboration across institutions. If we strengthen that interface and we focus on these things, we will not only end up with better audit outcomes, but importantly for all of us, we will end up with better functioning institutions that can be sustained for generations to come. Our concern as the Audit Office is that these regressions say that we've not yet paid the attention we should have, and the matter is becoming more and more urgent. Honourable Speaker, you talked about the powers that we've been given. I'll just highlight a couple of things on the next slide. Effectively, I think I mentioned this the last time I was here. In 2019, our Public Audit Act was amended, and the intention was for us to have powers to follow up on the implementation of consequence management. And the powers effectively do not have us replacing the role of accounting officers or executive authority or even of oversight. Ours is to complement the activities of all. What we've done with these powers is, and it's consistent with what the law says, when we find a non-compliance or a fraud or a theft or breach of fiduciary duty, which we believe is linked to the impact of financial loss or likely financial loss, or where harm is being caused, we can then raise the matter through a notification to the accounting officer. That's meant to say to the accounting officer, this is urgent, act on it. Fortunately, in many instances, accounting officers do respond to that. The law says if they don't respond, we can take the next action, which is to recommend the matter and put it in an audit report so that it can enjoy the attention of yourselves as oversight. And then if that's still not working, we can then take remedial action, which will compel the accounting officer to act on what it is we've recommended. And also the other thing we can do is refer matters for investigation by others. And the last thing we would issue is a certificate of debt in the name of the accounting officer that failed to do all of the things we kept recommending for them to do. I set this out to demonstrate that we don't take over anyone's powers, we don't take over anyone's responsibilities. Ours is a complementary exercise. We've used it to very good effect. We've identified instances where losses were being incurred, and we've been able to get accounting officers to recover some money. You'll see that of the more than 200 million that was being lost, just about 20 million rand is coming back. The number is a trickle. So it is crucial that we avoid the loss in the first place. And how we have tracked what controls are being put in place to avoid these repeats is that we've been compelling accounting officers to put controls in place. We've also been able to use these powers to get people to protect public resources and public assets where we found that harm was being caused to public resources or to public assets. In every one of the conversations that you will have with my team on every single audit, you'll be able to get insight on the specific MIs and the status thereon. All I will say is that prevention is always better than cure. In terms of our call to action, we've headlined it by saying discipline the spend, fix the basics, improve delivery in KZN. And we believe that if we put in all of our heads and hearts and hands the duty of ensuring that we drive accountability, we will start to win. Where we see non-compliance, let's act. Let's make sure that there are consequences, swift, courageous, effective, transparent. Where we see that performance is not going in the way that we expect, let's hold accounting officers accountable, especially focusing on the key service delivery departments of education, health, transport, and human settlements. If we focus through oversight and through the attention of the executive authority, we'll be able to get better performance out of those departments. I'm particularly thrilled to have observed the attention that Public Works and the province through the executive is paying to infrastructure execution and dealing with the portfolio of infrastructure projects and trying to sort out the issues there. I believe that that work should enjoy the support of all of us, because that portfolio of projects that have not yet been completed or are in a poor state, if we focus on those and turn them quickly into completion and commission, we'll start to experience service delivery and win back lost confidence by citizens. The audit committees and internal audit within the province, some of them are more effective than others. If you look at that ecosystem of accountability, we've profiled the role of internal audit and audit committees. It's imperative that we focus on ensuring that all audit committees are functional and that their recommendations are given proper attention to. So perhaps an invitation I'd like to offer to you, Speaker and Deputy Speaker, is to talk to the chairs of committees about the potential for them to invite the audit committees into the meetings, either through SCOPA or the specific portfolio committees on a regular basis, but to get the audit committees to come and talk to you about what work they're doing, to what extent their recommendations are being paid attention to. If we profile that role, I think it'll be given the attention it deserves by accounting officers. And indeed, their focus must not just be on financial statements. Audit committees in too many places worry about financial statements alone. Their terms of reference and mandate covers financial statements, performance information, and compliance. They should be looking at all the aspects of our audit reports and ensuring that there is proper attention to all of it by accounting officers. I then want to close off by saying that my team and I have been encouraged by the feedback and the action that we have experienced from the executive following these reports. We've noticed the tone that has been set by the Honourable Premier around accountability, and the work that he's done around driving performance agreements with the executive and institutionalizing performance reviews. We've also identified that the Honourable Premier is driving accountability and transparency as an imperative within his cabinet. It's been quite inspiring to see how the Provincial Treasury has moved towards reform, out of diagnosis, but genuinely towards reform and taking actions that are going to drive better fiscal control within the province. And we'd like to commend you on that and encourage you to continue on that journey of ensuring that we improve the spending disciplines within the province. And of course, I must mention that in the legislature, we've been able to observe portfolio committees and SCOPA taking our messages and our work to heart and using our reports to drive the critical accountability conversations. If we continue on this trajectory, honourable members, I believe that we can start to see a difference. It's going to be imperative that we remain focused on the task at hand. I know that throughout the world and in South Africa at the moment, there are a great many things that keep us very, very busy. I would like to encourage you to not lose sight of the recommendations we've given, not lose sight even of the commitments that you've given, because it is time essential. Time is truly, truly of the essence if we are going to rescue this situation, if we're going to stem the slide. I wish it were different, but there isn't going to be significant amounts of money that come our way. Our economy simply isn't growing. And so we're going to all have to get better, more responsible, more responsive in how we deploy public funds. We simply just don't have the latitude to continue to slide. Thank you very much, Honourable Chief Whip. I will end my remarks there.
Thank you very much, AG, for the well-crafted presentation by your office, Ms. Manulela. Greetings to the members of the executive who joined the meeting during the presentation, the leader of government business, as well as MEC for Finance. We are now coming to the questions and answers. If there is any question from the floor, here is the time. Dr. Kika.
Thank you, Chief Whip, for the opportunity, and thank you for the presentation, and welcome to our legislature, AG. AG, we've had an engagement with Mam Kabazela with regards to the audit outcomes of the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Health. In our engagements, when she presented to the committee, we had requested some information. What was cited is that there's confidentiality issues with regards to that, and we said that for us to do our work properly, we need that information. Confidentiality comes between the committee and the Auditor General's office, in that for us to provide proper oversight over the department, we need to have that information at our disposal, even if it is discussed with us in camera, so that we are able to interrogate it when the department appears before us. So, for example, there's a large amount of money involved where officials of the department at various levels are doing business with the department. And that was part of your findings. Also, with regards to the regression in terms of asset management that you spoke about extensively, whilst the management report has been given to the department, we don't have sight of this. And given that issue of confidentiality, we'd like to explore how we can obtain these from you so that we can interrogate it and hold the department accountable. Otherwise, that accountability ecosystem that you refer to is actually diminished from our side, and we can't do our jobs properly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kika. Honorable Dex.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to all honorable members. Good morning to the AG and the team. Welcome to the KZN Legislature. AG, thank you very much for the comprehensive report that you have given us, and also thank you for the role that you are playing in assisting this legislature together with your people that are deployed in this province of KZN. I just want to make a comment, AG. I think that after the last general elections, I think that the role that the legislature is playing in holding the executive accountable in this legislature is very, very crucial. I think that the role of oversight over the executive by the legislature have improved. And especially, I think credit must go also to the opposition, the official opposition of Mkhonto Wesizwe, for the focus that they have put on the certain departments, like the Department of the Premier and the Finance Department. I think that's why you can see some improvements, because the opposition have really been focusing and honing into on those departments. So I think credit should go to the official opposition. Thank you very much.
Honorable Rogers, MSc for Finance.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip, and thank you, AG, to you and your team. I must say it's a breath of fresh air to hear somebody speak my language, because very often we speak alone as the AG and as Treasury. And the reality is, if we want to change the audit outcomes, it's going to take change management. We have to change the way people operate. And that's a very painful and very difficult process. The only way you're going to achieve it is what you've said, is through accountability and consequence. Because people won't change the way they operate if they know there is no punishment for non-compliance. And I think from a Treasury perspective, we're trying to put systems in place that will allow the executive and this House to change management. One of those systems is a provincial dashboard, which is a live dashboard, which is very simple in its content, which gives the financial health of that department. And again, it's a system that I appeal to the chairpersons of committees to utilize, because it's no use we put systems in place and they aren't actually used to monitor departments, because that's how we're going to get consequence and that's how we're going to get accountability in those areas. One of the other challenges, of course, is in most departments and most provinces is supply chain, our biggest challenge areas. And there we're looking at this electronic procurement system, which we hope will be implemented towards the end and the beginning of next year, which once again takes out the human involvement. Because I think the minute you get humans involved in a process that involves money, it creates opportunities for corruption, for the various systems of fraud. So I'm really delighted. I have a very good working relationship with your team. But as you said earlier, if we don't work as a collective, we'll never get to the end result. And it's not impossible. It is possible. I look at a department like, and I don't really want to identify or be specific, but I'm going to. Social development has been a department that's really struggled in this province. We now have a CFO and an HOD that are extremely competent, and we can already see the change in results, and that's what we need to get throughout the province. So once again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MSC, Honorable Makubane.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Greetings to the members of the House. Greetings to the AG. Thanks for the presentation. We are noting the MIs that. Oh, sorry, Chief Whip. My apologies. We are noting the MIs that are being identified from most of the departments in the province, but we must applaud where credit is due. Let's give credit to the legislature for obtaining clean audit. It shows discipline, and some of the departments must also follow from the Speaker of the House. It's very. I think AG, when you look at some of the MIs, if you can give us a clue or an advice how to tackle that one, because as long as politics or political heads or political structures are still leading in some departments, the issue of unfair and uncompetitive and uneconomical procurement processes will still be taking place, because those decisions mostly comes out of political directives. When there's going to be a certain project or certain event, there will be political directives that is given to the management as to what they need to do around that event or that project or whatever activity that is taking place that will involve payments. So what is your advice around that? Because as much as you have advised that the audit committees must be invited by the chairs of the committees so that they can discuss and interact on the identified issues and unpleasant processes, then what do you advise further that can, by all means, try to fight the interference of political heads or political behavior towards the processes of the departments? Because I know in some instances, the administration, some will be scared to be fired if they don't follow the directives of the heads. So what's your advice on that one? Because it will keep on being there. Some even, I understand on the asset management, it's a matter of behavior. That's where the behavior must be in sort of verification and the management of assets, unless they're stealing them. But that one is a matter of behavior. It needs just to be controlled by the committees and then cascade down from the HOD to the CFO and then down to the directors and senior management. That one is a matter of behavior. But this one, what's your advice on it so that we can push them to follow on that? Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Twala. Thanks. Honorable President Bach, Chairperson of Scopa.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief Whip. It would be just remiss of me not to welcome the AG, but also just to thank the AG via you for the excellent support that we receive as Scopa from your AG's office, from Mrs. Noma Kiese. It's a fantastic honor to work with her and her team. So just a vote of thanks to the KZN team that support the work of Scopa, which is a non-partisan. We managed to really take the issues of governance seriously and really call out officials. And I will grandstand for a second because I have a bank of MECs behind us. We will work as hard as we possibly can in Scopa to adhere to every single mandate you've given us, AGSA. But we need the MECs behind us to be the owner of the house. It comes out when it hears the guard dog barking and take action. And if that happens and we work together, we can really turn things around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any further hand before I request the AG to respond? Honorable MEC for Etia, Reverend Zondi.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Premier, MECs. Greetings to the Auditor General and her team. The statement that the AG made regarding the entities of this province, 32% of them, only 32% of them being able to achieve clean audit. I speak as someone under whose department resorts quite a number of entities. That statement says a lot that needs to be done. And I couple it with the comment that says the seventh administration needs to ensure that the regression is addressed. But coupled with the statement which the Auditor General made earlier on, which says that the inability to acquire clean audit is not an accounting or a CFO problem, but a managerial problem. In your view, Madam, what do you think, generally speaking, across all our entities, is the persistent weakness that needs to be addressed and plugged in, because entities do not operate on the funds of their own. They operate on funds that are transferred from the departments to them. Sometimes they operate as a law unto themselves. They don't see themselves as part and parcel of what we do in the departments. And this pervasive idea that they are independent, isolated, and so on, and therefore are not subject to the same stringent measures that, and the whip that Treasury continues to crack. How can we ensure that we bring them into the fold so that they also can assist all of us to achieve a clean audit, which is foundational for good governance? Thank you, Honorable Chief.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. I will now request the AG to respond.
Thank you very much, Chair, and I'd like to thank all of the honourable members for their remarks, whether it was comments or questions. I will limit myself to answering the questions that were posed to me. Dr. Kika, I hear the matter you're raising in terms of access to information. If you could allow me to confer with my team just to understand what the confidentiality limitation was, so that we can meet your requirements in terms of being able to deal with oversight issues. One of the things that we sometimes experience is that portfolio committees will want the management report, which is a big report, which even if we had to make it available to you, and sometimes we do, it can be a 400-page report, which is very difficult for you to make any sense of, right? So if you want that's one thing. So what we try and do is distill it and give you the information you do want, so that you're able to use it. My commitment is to ensure that the portfolio committees and the honourable members of this House have the information that they do need to ensure that they can conduct oversight. So if you'll allow me just to confer with my team to understand the specifics, and we'll revert. In terms of the matters that Honourable Dix raised, I don't think I can comment, and I want to thank you, Honourable Rogers, for your compliments and explanations on the things that you are wanting to deal with. I was in one of the provinces earlier on this week, and the Premier said, we have to accept that good governance and impunity cannot coexist. And it is in that spirit that I agree with you about the need for consequence management to become a discipline that we take on. Because if we don't drive accountability and consequence management, we'll never change behavior. And so I'm pleased that that will receive the attention it deserves in the province. Honourable Magubane, you ask about how you could deal with the MIs. Specifically on each of the MIs, every one of the annual audit reports will set it out, so you're able to follow up with the accounting officer on what they're doing with every single one. When you see an MI, I'd like to invite you to not just focus on the accounting officer dealing with the specific transaction we raised, but to, yes, deal with that one, but also tell you how they're going to strengthen control so that we don't have a recurrence. In terms of the matter you raised around political interference with procurement processes, what we've seen work is that if the portfolio committee calls into the room the executive authority as well, because they're supposed to account to the House as well, and to have that conversation around, these are the findings, what are you doing about dealing with them? Are you investigating? Where's the investigation? Is it being delayed? Why is it being delayed? If you have a combination of the accounting officer, executive authority, as well as the audit committee, I believe you should be able to get all the answers you need and get progress in terms of changing behavior and changing the type of things that people do. The other thing I wanted to suggest is, in the portfolio committees, it's good to focus on compliance issues. It's important. Equally important to focus on performance issues. We find that the conversations with oversight between accounting officers or even executive authority and oversight tend to be about compliance, around audit qualification paragraphs on the financials, but not enough about performance. And so maybe to your point, Honorable Speaker, part of strengthening this interface is about the portfolio committees using the reports, the quarterly reports from the accounting officer, the annual reports from the AG to say, where are you in implementing the things we all agreed you would do when we appropriated the funds? That's an important conversation. Because if we don't do that, you're going to appropriate funds on a promise, but you never check if that promise is fulfilled. So let's also make sure that we don't spend our time, our limited time, only on compliance and financials, but also on performance as well. And our reports, I believe, more and more are giving you that insight. I've been so enthralled by the work that the team I lead has been doing in going to visit projects, and they're able to come to you with examples of what a procurement process that goes wrong leads to on the ground, what a performance shortfall leads to on the ground, whether it's health, education, or transport. All of the portfolios have enjoyed tremendous attention from our teams, who are not just bean counters, by the way, I must tell you. So the people who tell you about the state of a road or the state of a hospital are not auditors like me. They are part of the diverse talent that we have. We've got medical specialists and doctors that work with us. We've got engineers and quantity surveyors that form part of our team, so that the information they give you is infused with their expertise, and that is different from those of us who count the numbers. So I think that the full ambit of what we're able to offer you, I think can certainly assist. And I'm glad that SCOPA is attending to the reports that we've been issuing and getting value out of the interaction with my team. Honorable Zondi's comment on the oversight on entities. So the PFMA sets out the role of the accounting authority, which is the board. They remain a state entity. They account to the executive authority and to Parliament, or to the House. My suggestion is, at SCOPA, we should prioritize hearings on these very entities. Maybe sometimes we think they're small relative to the budget, but they are significant relative to our economic development priorities. And the portfolio committees should also not just focus on the department, which has got a clean audit, fortunately, but importantly on the entities. If we don't, because that's where the money is, that's where the real development priorities sit. I've found that entities that are not well controlled by the executive authority and are not in the habit of reporting properly to the executive authority, sometimes then forget that they're actually state entities. So we have to find every which way to disabuse them of any notion that they are not accountable to the executive and ultimately to the House as well. They are state institutions. They are expected to uphold the principles set out in the PFMA. They must observe the rule of law, and they must be accountable and transparent too. So perhaps if you could structure the oversight within your department, Honorable Zondi, around quarterly engagement with those boards. They must give you the quarterly reports that account for what it is they've done based on what you might have approved as the shareholder compact. And they must also account to the portfolio committees within the legislature on how they are performing and delivering on the mandate that's been given to them. That's the only way we'll start to get value out of those entities. The problem is, if we don't oversee them regularly, the one time we do see them is when there's a big crisis, where they run out of money, they come to you with a begging bowl, and now you must quickly go find resources. We've got to get into the habit of monitoring them on a regular basis through the executive and through the House. I hope that's helpful as input. Thank you very much, honourable members and honourable Chair.
Thank you very much, AG. We are now coming to Honourable Deputy Chair of Committees for a vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Premier, Honorable Speaker, Honorable MECs, the AG, and the team, Mrs. Mkize and Ms. Maharaj, honorable members of the legislature, and officials. I rise on behalf of this legislature to pass our sincerest gratitude to you, AG, and the AG team that accompanies you for always making time to personally brief us on the audit outcomes of the departments of this provincial government. The fact that you give yourself time to unpack the findings your team came out with and you present them to this House always leaves the honorable members of this House with a full understanding of your findings and where there are good outcomes, how these can be maintained or improved. Where there are no pleasing outcomes or satisfactory outcomes, how can these be remedied or corrected? In these sessions, you give honorable members of this House an opportunity to ask questions of clarity as you have just done, so that they fully understand the contents thereof as it has just been done today. We must commit that we are going to follow up on the findings in the respective portfolio committees where honorable members of this House serve as they discharge their oversight responsibility over the executive. When you take into account the needs that the communities we represent are expecting from those that serve them, every rand that government spends should be spent towards mitigating the developmental challenges that our country faces. Each rand must be stretched to address this goal and must be spent following the prescripts of the law as stipulated. Corruption must be rooted out because it robs the poorest of the poor the services which they desperately need. The JH's office exists in order to ensure that public funds are utilized properly and are not squandered or used recklessly by those who are entrusted with these funds. It is a matter of concern, AG, that is stipulated in slide 4 of your presentation, which says the overall audit outcomes have regressed. It is worrying, as you said, that 95% of the provincial budget did not receive clean audit. We've also noted the 4 points that you presented to us under your column, call to action. In conclusion, we wish to record our appreciation for the good work that your team does as they execute their audit duties. We thank you, Madam AG, for the steady hand of leadership that you provide as you guide the team AGSA. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair of Committees, and thank you, AG, and all those who have made a contribution to this presentation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, and all members who have participated in this. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
order, Madam Speaker.
Order.
Order, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, may we take this opportunity for a silent prayer or meditation. Amen. Good morning, honorable members, honorable Premier, honorable Deputy Speaker, members of the House, the leader of the official opposition. Greetings to all of us. We will now go to the second item on the order paper, which is obituaries. Honorable members, in this solemn moment, we remember those who have journeyed on from this life. Though they are no longer with us, the echoes of their deeds and their devotion to family, community, and service remain etched in our hearts. May we carry their legacy forward with dignity. We will recognize and honor the following departed individuals: Ambassador Emmanuel Nkosinathi Mthethwa, a devoted servant of the Republic, a leader of conscience and a son of KwaZulu-Natal who gave his life to the pursuit of freedom, justice, and nation building. Ambassador Mthethwa passed away while serving as South Africa's ambassador to the French Republic, a role in which he continued to represent our country with distinction, honor, and a commitment to strengthening bilateral and multilateral relations. Born in KwaZulu-Natal, Ambassador Mthethwa's political life was rooted in the liberation struggle, and he rose through the ranks to serve the democratic government in various key positions. His contributions to the nation span across decades, and his impact remains etched in the institutions he helped shape. Throughout his career in public service, he presided over several critical national portfolios. As Minister of Safety and Security, later renamed the Minister of Police, he was at the helm of transforming our security institutions and promoting public safety in a young democracy. He later served as Minister of Arts and Culture, where he championed the preservation of South Africa's cultural heritage, celebrated the country's diversity, and uplifted the creative sector. In 2019, following the merger of portfolios, he became the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, where he led efforts to use both sport and the arts as vehicles for social cohesion, nation building, and economic development. After his tenure in cabinet, he was appointed as ambassador to France, where he served until his untimely passing. His diplomatic leadership further demonstrated his commitment to advancing South Africa's role in the global community. Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa dedicated his life to the service of others. His calm presence, strategic mind, and enduring commitment to the values of our Constitution made him a respected figure both at home and abroad. The second person is Mr. Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Odinga was not only a towering figure in Kenyan politics, but a steadfast advocate for democracy, social justice, and the empowerment of the people. His life was a testimony to the enduring struggle for freedom, a life marked by sacrifice, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of good governance and Pan-African unity. Throughout his political journey, Mr. Odinga inspired millions across the continent with his courageous stand against authoritarianism and his tireless pursuit of equity and reform. As a leader, he remained rooted in the will of the people, often paying a heavy personal price for his convictions. His passing is not only a monumental loss to the people of Kenya, but to the entire African continent. Today, we stand in solidarity with our Kenyan brothers and sisters in mourning the loss of a statesman whose legacy will echo for generations. Thirdly, the two pilots who lost their lives following the disappearance of two light aircraft near Nottingham Road in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands yesterday. All artists and veterans in the entertainment industry, victims of gender-based violence, femicide, and hate crimes, all public servants and traditional leaders of this province and the country, all the victims of road fatalities in our province during the recent past, and everybody else that we may not have mentioned by name here. May I request the House to now rise to observe a moment of silence to honor all those who have gone ahead of us. May their souls rest in peace. Honorable members, we now move to item 3, which is announcements by the Speaker. Firstly, it's apologies. The first apology is Honorable Ms. N. Simelane, MEC for Health, who's attending the National Health Council meeting. The Honorable Dr. N.N.G. Mahlaba, Honorable Mr. M.E. Dlungwane, Honorable Mr. L.J. de Klerk, and Honorable Ms. M. Nye are currently out of the country on official business. They will be joining the proceedings virtually. Then the Honorable Mr. F.A. Rogers, MEC for Finance, will be excused from today's sitting earlier than scheduled due to other agent commitments. And I hope the House will note his intended early departure. There are members who are not well, and the honorable member that is not well is Honorable Princess P.A.T.N. Buthelezi, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education, who is not in the House due to ill health. Now we'll move to item 3.3, which is birthdays. May I take this opportunity to extend belated birthday wishes to the honorable member, MEC Shinga. Her birthday was on the 13th of October. On behalf of this House, we hope that Honorable Shinga enjoyed a joyful and memorable day filled with celebration, reflection, and the warmth of loved ones. We wish her continued good health, happiness, and success in all your endeavors. Siyathemba laba lihle ilanga lakho noncengwa. Honorable members, we move to 3.4, appointment of members to committees. In terms of standing rules, 1434, names of members appointed to committees must be published in the announcements, tablings, and committee reports without delay. The changes affect the MK Party, and membership has been changed on 10 October 2025 in the following committees: Ethics Committee, Quality of Life, Environmental Affairs, Economic Development, Public Participation, and Petitions. The members that have been redeployed to portfolio committees will sit and be invited to committees henceforth. 3.5. Honorable members, I wish to bring to your attention an important matter regarding compliance with income tax return submissions. The SARS VIP section is on site today for what will be the final attempt to provide support to members with the filling of their income tax returns, which are due by the 20th of October 2025. This service is made available specifically to assist all members on a one-on-one basis, ensuring that each honorable member is afforded the opportunity to comply timeously and correctly with their tax obligations. I urge all members who have not yet finalized their tax submissions to please make use of this opportunity before the deadline. Let us lead by example in upholding the principles of accountability and compliance. And we thank the Office of the Deputy Speaker, together with the responsible office under the Secretary, for ensuring that we have this last attempt for members not to travel to fix their tax matters. Honorable members, I am pleased to acknowledge and extend a warm welcome to a special group of guests joining us in the public gallery today. We are honored to be joined by senior citizens from various old age homes in and around Pietermaritzburg. Their visit coincides with today's important debate on the 2024 Senior Citizens Parliament report, a matter that speaks directly to their lived experiences and valuable contributions to our society. Our esteemed guests are from some of the following institutions: Sobantu Old Age Home, which is in Sobantu; Emuseni Old Age Home, which is a Sage African Frowe Federase Old Age Home, which is from Prince Alfred. You are all welcome. We continue to draw wisdom from you. Siyanamukela bantu abadala bazali bethu. Your presence here today is deeply appreciated, and it is our hope that you find today's proceedings both meaningful and engaging. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Honorable members, as we approach the critical period of the National Senior Certificate examinations, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of this House to extend our heartfelt well wishes to all learners across the province of KwaZulu-Natal who will soon be writing their matric exams. To the class of 2025, we commend you for your resilience, dedication, and hard work throughout your academic journey. We recognize the challenges we have faced and overcome to reach this important milestone, and we encourage you to remain focused, confident, and determined in the final stretch. We also extend our gratitude to the educators, parents, and guardians who have provided unwavering support to our learners during this time. Honorable members, let us all join in wishing the matriculants strength, clarity of mind, and great success. May their efforts bear fruit, and may they step confidently into a bright and promising future. Good luck to the class of 2025. We know that our well wishes alone would not be enough without a department that is ready for service. We are also wishing well to the Department of Education in the province, led by MEC S.E. Hlomuka. Honorable members, as we gather in this house during the month of October, I would like to acknowledge and reflect on the significance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This month is dedicated to raising awareness, promoting early detection, supporting those affected, and honoring the survivors and the memories of those we have lost to breast cancer. It is a time for us to unite in our collective efforts to educate our communities and advocate for accessible healthcare services, particularly for women in rural and underserved areas. Particularly for women in rural and underserved areas. Early detection, Honorable Premier and MEC, remains one of our strongest tools in the fight against breast cancer. We therefore encourage all women and men to take charge of their health by undergoing regular screenings and being alert to changes in their bodies. But we also need government, Honorable Premier, with public institutions that would assist the early detection of breast cancer. As the KwaZulu-Natal legislature, we stand in solidarity with all those affected by breast cancer. Let us continue to play our part by spreading awareness, supporting campaigns, and working towards a future where no life is lost to this disease. Let us wear our pink ribbons with pride and let our actions reflect our commitment, especially back in our constituencies, honorable members. Honorable members, once more, this House formally acknowledges the month of October as Pride Month, a time dedicated to recognizing, affirming, and celebrating the diversity, dignity, and rights of the LGBTQIA+ community. Pride Month is not only a celebration of identity, visibility, and inclusion, but also a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggle for equality, justice, and human rights for all, regardless of gender identity or sexual orientation. As public representatives, we carry the responsibility to promote a society grounded in the values of respect, tolerance, non-discrimination, and constitutional dignity. It is incumbent upon us to ensure that all people, including members of the LGBTQIA+ community, feel safe, supported, and valued, both within our communities and in the institutions that serve them. May this Pride Month renew and deepen our collective commitment to building a just, inclusive, and compassionate society that embraces diversity in all its forms. To the LGBTQIA+ community, this House sees you, supports you, and stands firmly with you. Once more, honorable members, this House acknowledges the month of October as Mental Health Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness about mental health, challenging stigma, and promoting the emotional well-being of individuals and communities across our province and our country. Mental health is a fundamental component of overall health. It affects how we think, feel, relate to others, and make choices. Yet far too often, mental health challenges are misunderstood, overlooked, or stigmatized, leaving many to suffer in silence. As public representatives, we have a responsibility to promote open dialogue, accessible support systems, and policies that prioritize mental health care and destigmatize mental illness. This includes advocating for increased resources, awareness campaigns, and community-based interventions, especially for our youth, frontline workers, and vulnerable groups. Let us use this month to reaffirm our commitment to building a society where mental health is treated with the same agency and compassion as physical health. But honorable members, if I also do not speak to the importance of the mental health of members of this House, which the legislature provides for them to be taken care of, take that first step, honorable member, to approach the Office of Human Capital whenever you need. There is confidentiality. We never get to know. Honorable members, October is officially recognized as Transport Month, a time to raise awareness about the importance of transport in our society and economy. It is also an opportunity to promote road safety, especially as we approach the festive season. I urge all road users, drivers, passengers, and pedestrians to exercise caution, obey traffic laws, and avoid reckless behavior. Transport Month encourages us to reflect on our progress, engage communities on transport challenges, and support initiatives that improve mobility, safety, and accessibility for all. Let us work together to build a safer, more efficient transport system. I now move to congratulatory remarks on South Africa's qualification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the KwaZulu-Natal legislature to take a moment in this sitting to acknowledge and extend our heartfelt congratulations to our national soccer team, Bafana Bafana, for their remarkable achievement in qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This outstanding milestone is not just a victory on the football field. It is a triumph for our nation. It is a testament for the unwavering spirit, dedication, and unity of purpose demonstrated by our players, coaching staff, and the entire support team. Bafana Bafana's success brings renewed hope and pride to millions of South Africans, particularly our youth, who look up to these athletes as ambassadors of excellence and perseverance. In a time when our country is in need of uplifting stories and symbols of unity, this qualification serves as a powerful reminder of what we can achieve when we stand together in pursuit of a common goal. Let us salute Bafana Bafana for flying the South African flag high on the international stage. We stand behind them as they prepare to represent us at the highest level of world football. Halala Bafana Bafana, halala South Africa. It's important, honorable members, there is one Bafana Bafana. Honorable members, as we approach the 20th of October 2025, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the KwaZulu-Natal legislature to extend warm wishes to all those who will be celebrating Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Diwali is a significant celebration in the Hindu community, symbolizing the victory of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, and good over evil. It is a time of reflection, renewal, and unity, celebrated with the lighting of lamps, sharing of meals, and expression of love, peace, and generosity. To all who observe this special occasion, may your homes be filled with light, joy, and prosperity. Now we move to item number 4, which is announcements or reports by the Premier. Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Deputy Speaker, the Leader of Government Business, or MEC Duma, Member of the Executive Council present, the Chief Whip, Honorable Kwala, Ndabezitha Inkosi Yasemadungeni, the honorable members present, and the senior citizens who are in the gallery. I wish to join you, Madam Speaker, by mentioning that on a Sunday, the 12th of October 2025, I joined the Chief Mourner, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, at the state funeral of the late ambassador to France, Honorable Emmanuel Nkosinathi Mthethwa. This solemn occasion was a powerful demonstration of unity across the political spectrum, as leaders came together to honor a distinguished public servant who served our nation with dedication. I wish to particularly commend the honorable members of the Executive Council, Honorable MEC Duma and Honorable MEC Kaula, and the entire cabinet who took the resolution to contribute to the funeral and to visit the Mthethwa family prior to the ceremony and to be part of the preparations. What they did across different parties demonstrated true compassion and the spirit of Ubuntu, reflecting the values that define our province and nation. Honorable members, yesterday, 15 October 2025, we concluded a two-day provincial lehotla held at the Ashigumede Center in Durban. This strategic provincial planning session was attended by members of the Executive Council, mayors of secondary cities, senior government officials, CEOs of state entities, and private sector. We also had the presence of the representatives of the national government departments. The lehotla provided an important platform to review the progress of the first year of operationalizing the government of provincial unity. It was a year marked by the careful work of translating a political agreement into a functioning system of governance, one capable of delivering stability, coherence, and most importantly, tangible service to our people. The insights and resolutions emerging from this session will guide our collective efforts in ensuring that our province continues to grow inclusively and sustainably. Madam Speaker, this week the Office of the Premier is hosting a two-day KwaZulu-Natal Digital Transformation Summit at the IEC. This summit underscores our commitment to positioning KwaZulu-Natal at the forefront of the digital economy. In a rapidly evolving technological landscape, it is imperative that our province adopts a future-proof, secure, and trusted digital technologies. We recognize that data has become a critical driver of economic growth, a resource that fuels competitiveness, innovation, job creation, and social progress. However, the digital economy is not merely about devices or infrastructure. It is about transforming the way societies learn, trade, govern, and connect. Our challenge and opportunity lie in ensuring that digital transformation serves as a catalytic for inclusive growth, enabling all our people, particularly those in rural and township communities, to participate meaningfully in emerging knowledge economy. This summit provides a platform for collaborative innovation and partnership as we collectively shape a digital future that is inclusive, resilient, and transformative for KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable members, in our relentless efforts to support small-scale farmers and promote food security, under the leadership of Honorable Kamadlopa Mthethwa, we officially launched the multi-planting season in Herigwala District Municipality on the 10th of October 2025. This initiative forms a critical part of our broader strategy to strengthen the nexus between agriculture, rural development, and inclusive growth. By enhancing agricultural productivity, the multi-planting season seeks to alleviate poverty and improve the livelihoods of families, reinforcing the vital role of local food systems in combating hunger and promoting self-sufficiency. As part of this initiative, we visited a 22-hectare school and church garden, participating in one school, one garden, and one church, one garden projects. This garden generates approximately 600,000 annually by selling the produce to the local community and farmers. Initially, the school and church spent 80,000 on seeds and seedlings. This year, they received full support in the form of donated seeds and seedlings. The department, led by Honorable Kamadlopa Mthethwa, also assisted local agricultural cooperatives by providing 120 bags of fertilizer, pesticides, weed killers, and tractors for plowing, planting, and tilling their 60-hectare gardens. While still on the subject of agriculture, I wish to highlight that today, 16 October, we join the global community in observing a World Food Day. This important day serves to raise awareness about hunger and malnutrition across the world, and to inspire collective action towards achieving food security and ensuring healthy diets for all. World Food Day reminds us of our shared responsibility to confront these challenges through sustainable agricultural practices, global and local collaboration, and deliberate efforts to reduce food waste. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that, as we have already congratulated the matriculants, that it is all systems go for the 2025 National Senior Certificate Examinations. On Tuesday, 21st October, the matric class of 2025 will begin writing their final examinations. This year, a total of 195,899 learners will be sitting for their exams, 179,751 full-time and 16,148 part-time candidates. This represents a 3% increase compared to 190,452 who wrote in 2024, a clear sign of growing participation and confidence in our education system. KwaZulu-Natal, being the province with the largest number of candidates, has appointed 6,450 invigilators to ensure that examinations are conducted with integrity and fairness. Additionally, 7,889 teachers have been appointed as markers, and their appointment letters will be finalized by the end of October. The marking process is scheduled to run from 2 to 12 December across 32 marking centers. We are further pleased to confirm that the Department of Education has taken all necessary measures to ensure that teachers involved in marking process are paid timeously. Under the capable leadership of Honorable Hlomuga, the Department of Education has developed a 2025 academic improvement plan aimed at improving the provincial pass rates. Last week, together with Honorable MEC Hlomuga, we visited the matric examination paper printing facility in Durban and was satisfied that all systems are secure and compliant with national standards. Madam Speaker, we take this opportunity to express our profound appreciation to our teachers, learners, school governing bodies, teacher unions, and the Department of Education officials for their dedication and commitment in ensuring that the province is fully prepared for this important period in our education calendar. To the matric class of 2025, I wish to join you, Madam Speaker, that we wish them strength, focus, and confidence. They carry the hopes of our families, our communities, and our province. We are proud of the 2025 matriculants, and we wish them to go and make KwaZulu-Natal proud again. Honourable members, tomorrow, 17 October, the province will convene the KwaZulu-Natal Economic Council. This important platform brings together state and non-state actors tasked with developing practical and impactful solutions to advance our provincial economy. Amongst its key priorities, the Council will finalize preparations for the forthcoming Provincial Job Summit, which we are scheduled to host next year. While on the subject of the economy, I'm pleased to inform this House that next week KwaZulu-Natal will host KwaZulu-Natal Investment Conference, an event that has firmly established itself as the province's premier platform for pursuing KwaZulu-Natal as a key driver of South Africa's economic transformation. The conference brings together senior government leaders, captains of industry, international investors, and development partners to explore strategic opportunities that promote inclusive growth, strengthening trade, and unlock sustainable development. This year marks the second edition of the conference, which will take place from 22 to 24 October 2025 at ICC, under the theme, Building a Resilient, Inclusive, and Global Competitive KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable members, through last year's conference, KwaZulu-Natal's economy received a major boost, securing a record of 85.2 billion in investment pledges. We are confident that this year's edition will build on that momentum, consolidating KwaZulu-Natal's position as an attractive destination for investment and a vital engine of South Africa's economic recovery and transformation. I thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker and honorable members of the House.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. We were making many announcements earlier on. We forgot the part on women's health, hence I was needing something too, while all of you are feeling cool. Sorry about that. I am apologizing of what was happening back and forth here. Now we'll move to item 5, which is tabling of reports or papers. The first one is the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature Budget Performance Senior Monitoring Report for the month of September 2025. The oversight report on the 2025 multi-party program held in Zululand District by the Committee of Chairpersons. The report on committee resolutions management, which is July to September 2025 by the Committee of Chairpersons. Now we move to the Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture, that tables the oversight visit to Amafa Heritage Sites in Ulundi. Also tabling the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature Sports, Arts and Culture Portfolio Committee Stakeholder Engagement Session in Kandla Community Hall on 13th of June 2025. The Department of Education tables the revised 2025-26 Annual Performance Plan. The Department of Agriculture and Rural Development tables Agribusiness Development Agency 2024-25 Annual Report. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs tables the revised annual report for KwaZulu-Natal Economic Regulatory Authority Annual Report 2024-25. Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone Company SOC Limited Annual Performance Plan 2025-26 and the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone Company SOC Limited Strategic Plan 2025-2030. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs also tables a notice which has been sent to the Office of the Speaker of the end of the Section 139 intervention at Umzinyati in terms of Section 1392B of the Constitution. Due to non-approval of the intervention within the required time by the Minister. Honorable members, is there any report that should be tabled that we missed? Seeing that there is none, we will indulge you. We now move to formal motions or notices by the Chief Whip, which is item 6 on the order paper. Honorable Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Premier of the province and the Executive, the Leader of Government Business, the Leader of Official Opposition, Honorable Members, there is no formal motions and notices by the Office of the Chief Whip. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whips, but there are a few housekeeping matters that I will have to address, and I have received a note now from the whip party of the MK that there is leadership of the MK in public gallery. The Secretary General, Utatu Mwango, Unobhala wesifundazwe, Utatu Hadebe, we recognize you. But we want to remind whips that it's not a sin to invite your leadership, but you write to the office of the Speaker so that we recognize the presence of your party leaders in the House. Thank you, Whipper, even at this time for sending it through. We appreciate it. Honorable members, before we now move back to the order paper, there is one small matter that we have to address, which relates to some rulings that we have made. We promised to make them. The first one is a ruling that dates back to the 17th of July, 2025. And we want to apologize to the member who raised that ruling because we had promised to deliver it in the last sitting of 2025, July 2025. But we had spoken with the member consent when he raised that. During the hybrid sitting of the 17th July 2025, the Honorable T.W. Twala raised a point of order on words used by Honorable O.P. Kunene in terms of Standing Rule 7.5 in his debate. Honorable Kunene, just before he resumed his debate, he used the following words captured by Hansard, and he said, "Bese kulesi makulesi esi-EFF." Loosely translated in terms of Hansard, a party that is EFF. Honorable Twala contended that the words used by Honorable Kunene are offensive. Honorable members, based on past precedent of what is considered to be offensive or insulting language in a sitting of the House, the guideline that is used is that a member may not use in a debate expressions imputing improper or unworthy motives, dishonesty, hypocrisy, or want of sincerity to fellow members, or refer to them in a contemptuous or derogatory way. Nor may allusions be made to a member's private life or physical appearance. However, this must, of course, be balanced against the right of any member to engage in free speech, political debate, and to express an opinion on the beliefs and policies of a political party. There is also a distinction between allegations against members of the House and expressions of opinions on the statements, beliefs, and policies of members, political parties, or departments. Comparing the EFF to a party amounts to a remark against the party and not a personal attack against the member. Thus, the use of words by Honorable Kunene is a figure of speech common in the Nguni language, and it is not considered insulting. In line with the above, I therefore rule that the words of Honorable Kunene do not constitute a reference to a member of the House in an offensive or insulting manner. Honorable members, I noted the umhlobo wenene part that was coming from the honorable members. I noted it and I internalized it. Umhlobo wenene, it's coming from this side, honorable members. Umhlobo wenene, for those who do not know, is a radio station in the SABC that broadcasts in isiXhosa. isiXhosa, by the way, is my mother tongue. I wanted to put it out there. Honorable members, we go to the next ruling. At the virtual sitting day of 25 July 2025, during the general budget debate, while Honorable M. Bigwala, Chief Whip of the Legislature, was debating, voices of members were heard uttering and shouting derogatory words without drawing the Speaker's attention thereto in terms of the standing rules. The presiding officer then asked that the matter be investigated because she should not confirm who was making the remarks. Upon investigation, it then transpired that the persons who were shouting were honorable members of this House. The first one is Honorable D.N. Zama, Honorable L.S.O. Hadebe, Honorable S.P.G. Seme, and Honorable C.T. Kani. The transcript of the proceedings has been referred to. From the transcript of proceedings, it is clear that Honorable Dean Zama used the words, cha, usijwayela kabi lo, uyasijwayela, usijwayela kambi ugwala. Nali ikhehla lisijwayela kambi bu. This member is treating us with disdain. Order, honorable members. Gwala is treating us with contempt. This old man is treating us with disrespect. Usaqhubeka yena umhlonisha uNzama, ungazosijwayela wena mkhulu. This old man is treating us with disrespect. Hamba uyolusa izinkomo wena. Go and herd cattle. Hamba home wena, hamba home. Go to an old age home. I wouldn't want to be laughing on this today if I was any member of the House. Go to old age home, go to an old age home. Akuyona indawo yamagidangoma le. This is no place for supporting dancers or actors. Hamba kova. Go. Then the member uses a historical, highly offensive, inflammatory and derogatory term, which is negative, to the IFP, but uses it to the member. Uyasidelela lo. He is treating us with disrespect. Uyadelela lo mkhulu. This old man is disrespectful. Nizosijwayela kabi la. Nisfaka ku virtual ngoba nisaba. You are treating us with contempt. You convene us on a virtual platform because you are scared of us. Akubanga kude kakhulu ka Honorable Hadebe. Honorable Hadebe used the words, honorable members, inkatha will remain inkatha. Labantu bayekeni, leave these people alone. Benisibizela ukuthi sizodelelwa amakhehla la. You called us here to be disrespected by aged men. Benisibizela lento la. Is this what you use? Is this what you called us here for? Honorable Seme used the words, nizosijwayela kabi la, nisifaka ku virtual ngoba nisaba. You are treating us with contempt. You convene us on a virtual platform because you are scared of us. And Honorable C.T. Kanye used the words, yingako kanti benisibiza la. That is why you called us here. Uyadelela lo mkhulu. This old man is disrespectful. And this is what we got from. There is also, honorable members, there is also a character called being shameless. Honorable members, you can't be laughing from both sides of the House in the midst of this. Honorable members, based on past precedents of what is considered to be offensive or insulting language in a sitting of the House, the guideline that is used is that a member may not use in a debate expressions imputing improper or unworthy motives, dishonesty, hypocrisy, or want of sincerity to fellow members, or refer to them in a contemptuous or derogatory way. Nor may allusions be made to a member's private life or physical appearance. However, this must of course be balanced against the right of any member to engage in free speech, political debate, and to express an opinion on the beliefs and policies of a political party. There is also a distinction, honorable members, between allegations against members of the House and expressions of opinions on the statements, beliefs, and policies of members, political parties, or departments. Whilst the words old man is generally not considered offensive by itself, The manner in which the words were used and the context in which they were used indicate that they were used in a contemptuous and offensive manner. Rule 7.3 also dictates that a member must be referred to using the word honorable. In line with the above, honorable members, the words of the honorable members that I mentioned on does constitute a reference to a member of the House in a contemptuous and derogatory way. I therefore, in fact, members of the House, in reminding you, honorable members, there were words directed to the Honorable Kwala, but they were also directed to the conveners of the House sitting. And the conveners of the House sitting is the presiding officers. I therefore ask in all humility the following members to stand. Honorable D.N. Zama, Honorable L.S.O. Hadebe, Honorable S.P.G. Seme, and the Honorable C.T. Kanye. In terms of Rule 753, I call upon you to withdraw those words unreservedly. No, I have ruled that withdraw the words unreservedly. Whatever else comes elsewhere, leave it there. Honorable D.N. Zama.
Thank you, Speaker. I withdraw.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable L.S.O. Hadebe.
I withdraw.
Thank you, Honorable Pungane. Honorable S.P.G. Seme.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I withdraw.
Thank you, Honorable Seme. Honorable C.T. Kanye.
Sibonge Speaker, ngiyawahoxisa amagama.
Much, honorable members. Honorable members, if there is any outstanding ruling that we may not have read, the members concerned, please do remind us and we will attend to it. Thank you to the honorable members from both sides who have been reminding us of this. We now move to item 7 on the order paper as per Standing Rule 114. Statements by members. And honorable members, I will call the first member to do a member statement, the Honorable S. Ban Prakash of the IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My greetings to yourself, our Honorable Premier, Honorable MECs, guests in the gallery, and honorable members and all present. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Cooperative Government and Traditional Affairs closed Heritage Month with a landmark achievement. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority's approval of the KZN Kokta Pension Fund for Amakosi. This milestone stands as a shining reflection of the visionary leadership of MEC Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi, a leader who turns promise into progress. We also salute our Honorable Premier, Tammy Ntuli, whose dynamic leadership and unwavering commitment have brought renewed hope, stability, and excellence to our